What is up, everybody? Welcome to Pub Sports Radio and welcome to the DFS Picks and Prediction Show. Be sure to tune in every Wednesday, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, where me, Weezy, MMA Monk, and now Gordo are going to break down the upcoming card from a DFS perspective and give our predictions on the fight as well. Also, be sure to leave a like, subscribe here to Pub Sports Radio so you don't miss out on all the other content throughout the week. As always, we're going to go back and forth throughout each panel member, give our fight to target, our fight to fade, fighter to fade, favorite dog, favorite GPP play, favorite cash play, favorite value play, favorite dark throw. We'll go over our lineups last week. We'll see how Luke finished throughout his stint on the show. We'll give our quick picks, answer any questions, and then head out of here. Before we get into it, Weezy, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Got a week off after this week, and this week is kind of like, dying on the vine. This is not a great card, but whether it's good or not, we can find DFS angles, we can find betting angles, and that's what we're here to do. So I'm ready to chop this up with you guys.
For sure. Monk, how you doing today?
Fantastic. Just want to say what's up to the chat. What's up to everybody. Welcome, Gordo. Big shout out to Luke. I mean, we got a ton going on this week. Perfect week to go into a break here. So we'll try to get one more week of positive ROI before we have a week off. Let's get it.
Let's do it. And making his debut, we have Gordo. Gordo, what is up? You looking forward to the show?
Oh, I am definitely looking forward to it. Thank you for having me on. Well, first of all, it's like big shoes to fill with Luke, but I'm sure with you three handsome gentlemen by my side, we can do just fine for this one too. And it's a weird card to make my debut on, but I will try my best to do so. But you know what? With all the cancellations where I live, I'm just excited to break down some fights and take my mind off of it, with it all being gone.
Yeah, take your mind off of it with some Joseph Holmes and Alen Amedovski and some Elise Reed and Sam Hughes. It does not get much better than that. Be sure to also sign up on Prize Picks using promo code PUBSPORTS. Go check out Prize Picks. Lots of stuff going on over there. So with that said, guys, I say we get into it. And as always, we're going to start with our fight to target. And we'll kick it off with you, Gordo. What's your favorite fight to target this week?
Well, when I'm looking at fights to target, I want to pick a fight that I can see both sides finishing, getting a lot of, like a high ceiling on both sides. For me, this week is going to be Njokuani versus Todorović, mainly because I see that both of their strengths play into the other person's weaknesses. And you look at Njokuani, and sure, you see that knockout last time scoring very high. He does have power, and I do really like that on his side because Todorović doesn't move his head. He could get Punahele Soriano'd real easily. He could get knocked out cold. And I do like that upside from Njokuani. But if we look earlier, if we look past, we do more tape research, we can see that this guy has some holes in his game. And whereas Todorović may have not the best stats on paper, he has got a lot of his finishes on the ground, decent takedowns, decent clinch work, decent ground and pound as well. So I think that both of their strengths play into each other's weaknesses. So I'm going to target that fight a lot just because I think that Todorović in a win is going to clinch him up, is going to wrestle him, is going to try his best to close that distance and stay away from that reach, that height of Njokuani. And in doing so, will score decent. On the other hand, though, like that knocker from Njokuani is always lying. Just ask Marc-Andre Barriault. If you're going to knock him out, and you can knock out anybody, right? So huge power from him. And you look at the numbers, right? They've been finishing 75% of their fights. I see this one ending pretty early, mostly from the Njokuani side, but I definitely think Todorović is live to do so here.
Sounds good. And I think Duško is going to be pretty low owned as well. Weezy, what is your favorite fighter target for this week?
Yeah, I mean, echoing what Gordo said, when you're targeting a fight, you want to be able to target fights where you think both fighters in a win are going to score a ton of points. And for me, that's Holmes versus Amedovski. I mean, somebody is going to get served here. These guys are both really low level. Amedovski, when you watch the tape on Amedovski, look, I mean, this guy, he is so coiled up and ready to explode. It looks like he could spontaneously combust in there. That would be the first guy to spontaneously combust in the cage. It would be Amedovski. But when he lands, it's over. I mean, he's just that kind of fighter. And Holmes is the kind of guy who could get Amedovski down and finish him on the ground. So I think whoever wins this fight, they're going to do it probably under 1.5 rounds. And I could see either one of these guys scoring 100 points in a win. It's a low-level fight, and I'd be really surprised if this thing went the full 3 rounds.
Yep, I'm right there with you. Went with the same thing. It looks like it's around minus 240, minus 250. Fight doesn't go to decision, which is the second inside the distance line behind Almeida and Porter. And yeah, I agree. I think somebody gets finished here. Somebody gets finished pretty early. You have Joseph Holmes, BJJ brown belt. You have Amedovski, no ground game whatsoever. But like you said, he goes out there, he tries to knock your head off. So I kind of think if Amedovski wins, it's an early first round knockout. And if Holmes wins, I feel like he can knock him out as well. But especially that submission. So yeah, both sides here. I think this one does finish early, and you don't have to pay a ton for either guy. So I like that. Monk, what is your favorite fight to target for this week?
Yeah, I absolutely love both of those there. I'm trying to look to see, the Amedovski side for sure. If he finishes at 7,400, he is going to make the optimal. I love both of them, had both those on my list. I'll give you a different one, possibly a very low-owned fight in a strawweight division that does not finish often. Polyana, Viana, and Tabatha Ricci. I think somebody's getting subbed here. I don't know which side is going to get subbed, but I'm pretty sure somebody's getting subbed. Plus, the Draftkings upside is surprisingly high for both ladies here. 3 points a minute for Viana, 103.84 when she wins. That's the second best win total on the card. That's over 3 wins. She does allow almost 3 points a minute, 2.78, but only gives up 78. The other side for Tabatha Ricci, 3.34 points a minute, almost 100 points when she wins in her one win. She also did allow 120 when she lost, and 3.53 per minute is what she allowed. I think, like I said, somebody's getting finished here. The scoring upside is tremendous, especially at the weight class, and it's going to be a sneaky fight if it does finish. Both these women are probably going to be very low owned, with the exception of MMA Twitter, who is all over this, but that makes up how much percent of the DraftKings players that there are. So I think it's going to be pretty low owned, 7,900, 8,300. You can get to either one, no problem. So yeah, I like this fight to target. Somebody is getting subbed. I'm rooting for violence here.
Yeah, this is MMA Twitter's fight of the week for sure. I've seen so many posts about this fight, which is kind of nuts, but it should be a fun fight. Let's move on to our fight to fade, and we'll start with you, Weezy. What is your fight to fade for this week?
I'm going to go with Martinez versus Morales. There's really almost no grappling upside in this fight. It should be a 3-round striking match that's favored to go to decision. These guys score 2.71 for Martinez and 2.38 for Morales, DraftKings points per minute, respectively. So I see the winner scoring less than 80 points unless one gets violently finished, which is always a possibility. But if I'm looking for a fight to fade, I want to be almost sure that this thing goes to decision and that there's almost no grappling or any knockdowns. And this is a fairly good archetype of fight that kind of fits that. So, that's one I'm going to be low owned on for sure.
Yep. Once again, I agree with you, Weezy. That's what I went with, 8,900 for Martinez. Yeah, I think he wins, and I think it's a good spot for him, but he's not going to go out there and go for takedowns. Maybe he can knock out Morales, but I'm kind of leaning more towards decision. He's not going to throw like a crazy amount of volume, so don't really like him there, 8,900. On the flip side, Morales, he's not going to go for takedowns, although he does have that wrestling background. So yeah, this is probably the easiest fight for me to fade on the entire card. There's one other one I was looking at, but just don't see much wrestling upside in this one. And like you said, don't really see a finish there. So that one I'm fading. Monk, what is your favorite fight to fade?
I'm going to go ahead and generally fade the main event. I just don't think this one finishes. I think it goes all 5 rounds, in which case could still end someone on the optimal lineup, especially on the Vieira side at 7,100. I mean, anything she wins with is pretty much going to make the optimal. But the pace for both of these women, just very low. Holm, 2.23 points a minute, only 83 when she wins, and she has been in a few 5-round fights. The defensive pace for Holm is incredible. 1.65 points is all she gives up per minute. 87 when she loses, and that is over 5 UFC losses. The Vieira side, 2.78 is what she scores per minute. Only only scores 81.7. She does give up a lot, but only 2.6 per minute. And Vieira is 1,100 under her average salary, which is huge here. So, I mean, Holm, 40 plus years old. If you think she's spent, you're getting Vieira at a deal here. She wins, like I said, by decision or by finish. The chances of her making the optimal are fantastic at that 7.1K salary. The other thing is about Holm Fight Week, you get to watch Holm head kick Ronda Rousey over and over in all of the highlights leading up to this fight. So I absolutely love that. Not trying to hate on Rousey, but that kick, that whole combination, that ending, incredible for the legend Holm. But That was several years ago at this point. I think her footwork is still stupendous. I think it's much better than Vieira's. Her striking, obviously better than Vieira's. She is going to have to watch out for those takedowns if Ketlen starts to get, repeatedly hit in the face and cannot connect back with Holmes. So I just think this goes to decision. Long story short, I think the winner scores 80 to 85 to 90 points. And if it's Holly Holm, that might not make the optimal. If it's Vieira, I like it. But generally, I'm going to be fading the main event here.
Sounds good. There you go. Gordo, what is your fight to fade for this week?
I'm taking the easy way out. I'm taking the Hughes versus Reed fight. I mean, it has the highest chance to go to the scorecards, and in doing so, that's 73% chance, right? And I do see that happening, and I am on the Reed side here, which gives me her win equity doesn't score that high either. So if I was in the Sam Hughes side, if I did think that her 25% takedown accuracy could be used to her advantage to win this fight, she maybe could be able to score a few points to get some value, but I just don't see it. I think Reed keeps it at range. She's able to pop back up, and in doing so, it won't score that well. Hughes was able to do decent her last time out against someone in Estela Nunes, which a lot worse takedown defense in my opinion, and still only scored 92. And even at that, Reed and her win only scored 70. I don't see it scoring that much. I'm not going to go too high into detail, just a lower level fight, and I just think it's a bit sloppier, and there's much better fights to target on this card.
Yep, I'm right there with you. That was my second choice. Let's move on to our fighter to fade, and kind of sticking with that thought, I'm going to fade Elise Reed this week. She is sitting at 8,500. She's not going to go for takedowns here, I don't think. Her striking is good, but kind of lower volume, and I don't see her finishing Hughes. I see this going to decision, not a ton going on. If anything, I'll play some Hughes at that discount price, but yeah, I'm going to fade Elise Reed. Just don't see a ton of upside there, and like you said, Gordo, it is the least likely fight to finish as well, so just another reason to fade Elise Reed there. 8,500, don't really like it. Monk, what fight are you fading this week?
Fighter to fade, I'm going to give you Omar Morales here, just because of the pace and the scoring. He's going against Uroš Medic this week. Very, he got finished early and got a finish early, so high variance going against Medic here. Morales, $8,400. So you are paying up. Actually, you're paying down, minus $200 on his average salary, which is surprising to me right now. But 2.11 points a minute for a pace. 66.92 is all he averages when he wins. That's over 3 wins. Only gives up 2.2, but has allowed 95 when he loses. So he did get finished once. Yeah, that's right. In the UFC, he has been knocked down once in his UFC career as well. I believe it was Giga Chikadze that did that. Medic, has so far proven to have some power in his hands, hits hard. If Morales can avoid that, he could possibly get a couple takedowns, lay and pray here. Not lay and pray, but, work his stuff on the ground. That's going to be his path to victory. So it's going to be a decision most likely. But like I said, Medic, very high variance. You have no idea. He could get subbed early here if his fight IQ is not where it should be. But I tend to think that Medic can finish the job here against Morales in or finish early rather before going to the scorecards. That said, all the pace and the scoring per win, I just don't see very much upside here to Morales unless he gets that early sub. So I'll be generally fading the favorite fighter here at 8,400, Omar Morales.
There you go. Gordo, which fighter are you fading for this week?
Well, it rhymes with Morales. I'm going to take Corrales here, and I'm going to fade him strictly because I don't like his output and his path to victory here. We all know that Hooper, where he does lack a lot of things, the one thing he does have is decent durability, and Corrales' general game plan will usually play into what Hooper wants, right? So you have a guy in Corrales, averages 79 and a win in the first place. That's not even 10 times his salary. Facing guy who's never been finished. And then you look at what he wants to do, and usually he's getting those takedowns, and that's pretty much giving Hooper his only win equity here. Now, I know Hooper's tendly like a smaller guy, a weaker guy, just so lanky and all that stuff, but he's coming off a layoff, and Hooper will have that 5-inch height advantage and reach advantage. So Kolares doesn't look to be in a good place. I think that if you're fighting Chase Hooper, you're usually able to beat him up on the feet, and even at that, Kolares, like he's facing a guy who only allows 2.88 points per minute, so it's a tough one because like Kolares is facing guy Hooper, who I always want to fade, but I don't see him scoring optimal here this weekend. And if you're setting at a price tag of 8.6K, I'm going to want him to have a decent floor. And even at that, I can see him being sub. So I'm going to stay off of him. I'd much rather go up and get Njokuani or go down and get someone like Ricci or Morales that I'll talk about later.
Sounds good to me. Weezy, which fight are you fading for this week?
Yeah, I'm with Gordo here. I'm fading Kolares. Don't get me wrong. There's a couple guys that I like. I like Homer Simpson. I like Cabbage Carrera. Their ability to be able to take a beating, like a severe beating, and keep walking forward is a great attribute. And that's what Kolares does. That really is what Kolaris's best attribute as a mixed martial artist is his durability. You can just pound this guy in the head with 50 straight shots. He's going to keep coming. He's not going to go down. But they don't award points on DraftKings for being able to take a spectacular beating. And I think that that's wrong. We should talk to the DraftKings people. When you take a spectacular beating, you should get some kind of bonus, but they don't do that. Kolaris probably loses this fight. I think Hooper's a very live underdog, but I got a plan for Kolaris after he's out of the UFC. I think he should start a Brazilian version of Jackass, where people just bash him in the skull with anything that they can find and try to knock him out. Violence in that kind of fashion is very funny. And this guy has got the head. I don't even think he'll ever get CTE. He's just got that thick of a layer of fluid between his brain and his skull. And I think that could be Kolaris's next step after he's out of the UFC. And I think it could be a winner.
Brazilian Jackass.
Yeah.
I like it.
Just get him smashed with all kinds of shit over and over again. Dude, that stuff is hilarious and it sells. So, it's all about making money at the end of the day. So, Felipe, if you want to make some money, you call your Uncle Weezy, dude. We'll get this done.
Yeah, match him up with Dietrich, what's his name, from the one that beat up Homer when he had the crayon in his nose.
Yeah. What was his name?
Dietrich.
Oh, God. It was
Tatum.
Frederick Tatum.
Frederick Tatum.
Yeah.
It
was...
Sounds good. Sounds like a moneymaker. All right. Let's move on to our favorite dog. We will start with you, Monk. Monk, what's your favorite dog for this week?
All right. I'm going to pivot back to 7,500 Duško to Dirk if you work for best fight odds. But to the rest of us, it's Duško Todorović. 2-2 in the UFC. Like I said, 7,500. He has made the optimal lineup once out of his past 3 fights. His pace is fantastic. Third best on the card, 3.3 points per minute. Scores 119.67 over his 2 UFC wins. And he's also $1,000 under his average salary at 7,500. Average value of just under 8, so not really where you want it to be, but he does have those 2 losses. I feel if he can get a third win here, that will just increase his value. Plus, we're going against Chidi this week. Like, I forget, maybe it was Gordo, I don't remember who said it, but this one's going to be bang from both sides. Whoever wins this is not going to the judges' scorecards, I don't think. I think Duško has just as much of a chance to win as Chidi does, so for that reason, I will have the 7,500 Todorović rostered in several lineups this week. A bit of salary relief, but that's not to say that I won't be playing Chidi. I just love the salary for Duško here and the possible finish upside and the scoring upside in a win. If he can score 90 points, 95, 100 points at 7,500, that's optimal right there. So I like Duško here.
Sounds good. I like it as well. There's a ton of dogs that stick out for me. None that I really love, but I guess my favorite would be Uroš Medić, 7,800. Just for the fact that he does have a 100% finish rate. He's never won a fight over 1.5 rounds. It's safe to say if he does win, it is probably early. So I like that first round upside. Morales, I feel like he has a good path to victory in terms of getting the fight down to the mat, but I just don't know if I can count on Morales to do that. I think he's going to go out there and stand and bang with Medić, honestly. And if he does that, there's a very good chance that Medić can catch him. Medić is no joke on the feet. So 7,800, I think he is very live for that first round finish and puts up a big score and a win. So I like Medić there at that price tag. Weezy, who's your favorite dog for this week?
Favorite dog? I got Eryk Anders on my list here. First of all, the line doesn't make sense, so I feel like we're getting him real cheap. The whole in Park's game is when he gets out-controlled by his opponents at the UFC level. So in Park's 5 fights, in his 3 wins, he's out-controlled his opponents by a huge amount, and in his 2 losses, he's been out-controlled. And Eryk is way bigger and stronger, and he has the better cage wrestling game here. So I think Eryk's style can kind of give Jun-yong some problems. And Park is yielding 127.18 points per loss, and Anders is scoring 88.86 DraftKings points per win. So if I'm right, and Anders does have a path to victory here and pulls this one out, I think at like 7,200, he's a really good guy to put in your lineup, especially in cash for savings, because he's not the highest ceiling type of guy, but I think that this particular matchup opens some doors that allow him to be able to do some things that he does well, win some minutes, and potentially come out the other side with a win here. And at 7,200, if you can get a win out of that guy, that's a good start to any lineup.
Yep, I like him for cash as well. And when we talk about our lineups, he will definitely be in there, Weezy. So I do like that. Gordo, what are you liking for a dog this week?
So I wrote down two options for every category here, just so I don't get repetitive. And Monk did a great job breaking down Duško. He was my first option, but you're leaving me talking about Chase Hooper on my on my first show here. It's a painful thing to do. Maybe I like him because you know what, I just want to cheer for the guy. But no, I'm going to take Chase Hooper as my favorite dog this week, strictly because I do think he has a decent ceiling. I mean, he's a one-trick pony, and I think Kalar is going to give that to him. But I also think he has a decent floor. I mean, you're talking about Kalar as being a zombie. I do think that Hooper has decent durability as well. One day it'll crack because he gets hit every 5 seconds. But as of right now, he has decent durability. The thing here, too, is he's coming in off a year layoff, and he's young. So he's making those improvements. I think he has the size, the reach to be able to hold his own on the feet. And then when it comes to taking him down, Kallars is willing to play in that sub game. I think that it could lead to decent opportunities for Hooper. Kallars gets controlled 37% of the time. So if Hooper's able to take him down and willing to engage in a sub battle, I do think that Hooper has a chance here. It's tough for me to say. I'm going to stand by it, though, and I'm going to take Chase Hooper to be my dog this week.
And the dogs are barking as well. The dogs agree with you there, so I like it. Let's move on to our favorite GPP play. I'll kick this one off. I'm going to go with Chidi. I'm going to go with Chidi and Njokuani, 8,700. I like the price tag here. I think Duško's very live to win. But, Duško, I mean, his strike and defense is not good. His hands are down to his side. He's backing up with his chin up in the air. We're in the small cage. I just feel like Chidi has a very good chance to knock him out at some point. And probably early as well. Duško, he got knocked out like 5 times against Pune Hitley Soriano. He has a lot of power. I think Chidi has a lot of power as well. I think Chidi's very live for that early finish there. But yeah, like you said, Gordo, going back and watching some tape on Chidi like a couple of years ago, there's a lot of red flags, a lot of things I don't like, especially from like a betting perspective. But and if Duško does get this fight down to the mat, I think he can have some success. But the strike and defense just needs some work. I think Chidi's very live to catch him here. So give me Chidi. I think I'll have him in cash as well, but more of a tournament play for me. Weezy, who are you liking as a GPP play here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to just give you Jailton Almeida. It's obvious reasons why, Parker Porter taking this on somewhat short notice. He's at a skill discrepancy here everywhere. The only thing I worry about is Jailton has been a little bit sloppy on the ground, and if he winds up underneath Parker Porter, that is a mountain of a man and a mountain of an ass to get out from underneath. And he's already kind of weighing in small for 205. So it's an interesting fight, but the way that this dude fights, everything is just balls out for the first 5 minutes. And it's very hard to survive because his grappling, his control, his transitions, everything is just beautiful to watch. And, Porter has been finished inside the distance, I believe, in all 6 of his losses. The 5 that he actually lost, he was finished, and then there was a disqualification as well. So you like, if Jailton wins this fight, I mean, it's hard to picture him scoring less than 90 points here. But at 9,400, it's not like he's overpriced. We've seen guys priced up 95, 96, 9,700 when you got like an almost minus 800 price tag on your money line. So I think it's a good spot.
Yeah, I was worried they priced him up around like 9,600, but yeah, they didn't. I think they priced him accordingly there. Gordo, who's your favorite GPP play for this week?
You know what? I'm gonna take a stand here. I know you guys have been talking about fading him and going the other way, but I'm gonna take Omar Morales as my GPP play. And let me explain myself real quick here, because I do know a lot of people are on Medic, and I do get that he has a lot of power in that first round. He's super dangerous, but what I don't know is if he's going to be able to sustain that, or if he's able to get Morales out of there, because we've seen Morales be decently tough, and he's going to have that grappling in his back pocket. And I know he's not the smartest guy, not shooting for takedowns, but I feel like if you're getting pressured by a guy has no ground game, you're going to go after him. And I know he's only shot 3 takedowns, but he's landing them all. He's got that black belt in his back pocket, and you got a fight that's 70% implied to go to not go the distance, right? So a finish is happening one way or the other, with all the ownership on Medic, with all the holes in his game, with all the fraudulent activities happening in Alaska. I'm going to have to take a shot at Morales here. I think that his ceiling's super high, despite what you guys are saying. I know it's going a bit against the grain here, but I'm going to take my stand here. I do think that first round finish is not out of the table. That wearing him out over the later rounds is not off the table either. I think he's a decent path to victory this weekend.
Sounds good to me. If he wrestles here, he's an easy win. Just want to know if he does or not. We'll find out. Monk, what is your favorite GPP play for this week?
I will give you somebody different. Jun-yong Park. I'm going to be huge on this fight, both sides, Anders and Park. But let me give you the upside of Jun-yong Park, the Iron Turtle, coming in at $9,000, 4.22 points a minute. That is the best offensive pace on the entire card. 99.28 when he wins. Only gives up 2.71 points a minute. He is coming in well over his average salary, so you do have to pay up for this. $1,040 dollars higher than usual, but his average value is just under 9. He has put up over 110 points in one of his 3 wins, over 90 in 2 of them. I mean, the upside here is big. Anders also has been finished twice in the UFC, 4 losses by decision. Does give up 2.5 points a minute, so not great, but not terrible. I just like the ups. I think somebody's getting finished here. Like I said, I love both sides of this fight for GPP play, but I might be, pretty even as far as Park and Anders, which is saying something since the salary difference is so huge this week. But you have to play both sides, but absolutely give me Jun-yong Park. Plus the salary voodoo on $9,000 is a crazy number. So I absolutely love this fight. I think the winner makes the optimal no matter what, pretty much, except for, maybe a decision. But even so, 4.2 points a minute. Got to give me Jun-yong Park for GPP play.
Sounds good. There we go. Let's move on to our favorite cash play. I'll kick this one off. It's going to be Jailton Almeida, 9,400. Yeah, not a lot of really safe plays on the slate for cash. I mean, I like Vieira in cash down low, but up top, I'm going to go up there and get Almeida. I feel like he finishes his fight and finishes in the first round. 15 wins, all of them coming under 1.5 rounds. Of course, I do have my concerns if this does get extended, and I do have concerns if Porter gets his big ass on top of him. But outside of that, I feel like Almeida gets him down in the first round, either TKO, submission, one of the two, and gets a first round finish there. So give me Almeida. I feel like he's somewhat safe. And at 9,400, like you said, Weezy, we're not paying 9,600, 9,700 for the guy. I think he's priced accordingly there. Monk, who's your favorite cash play for this week?
I'm going to probably go with Michel Pereira, actually. I think, he has a definite path to victory over Santiago Ponzinibbio here. He scores over 3 points a minute, 85 per win, and this is over 5 wins. His defensive pace is crazy. Only 1.81 points per minute is what he allows. You're also paying down $350 for him. So this is a fantastic spot to get Michel Pereira. I think he's going to win by decision, and if he does that, he's going to be right around 80 to 90 points, I think, which is very good for cash, plus that very low salary of 8,200. I mean, fantastic. You can get to him very easily, and easy to mix and match as well at that price. So give me Michel Pereira for my cash play this week.
Sounds good. Gordo, how about you?
Well, last week I talked about the unfortunate reality of the Chukagi and that size matters, but I'm going the other side here. I'm with you. Size doesn't matter this week. Give me Almeida. The guy's been showing off, and I do like him. You hit all the points there. On the other side of things, though, like I said, I did write down 2 fighters, so I won't spend too much time of it, but I do think Holly Holm is a decent cash play this week. Huge experience edge. She's going to style on her in the feet. Great footwork despite her age. And even at that 76% takedown defense, I know Vieira's going to have maybe that burst of energy at the start, but she's shown to gas out as well. So give me the better striker in Holm, someone who I think is going to win a lot of the minutes here and be a decent cash play.
Sounds good to me. I like it. Weezy, who is your favorite cash play for this week?
I'm going to go with Holm as well. She's the best fighter on this card by a mile. When you go and you watch the tape on Holly Holm, she does everything as well as she could possibly do it. You could just see the wheels of her mind turning when she fights. She doesn't make mistakes. She stays extremely safe. She always is living in her opponent's least comfortable area of their mixed martial arts experience. She wins minutes on the cage. She wins minutes on the ground. And if you're at kickboxing range, it's almost impossible to get into boxing range. And when you get into boxing range against her, you're even more fucked because she's a world champion boxer. And everything that she does in the cage leads you to where Holly is most comfortable and where you're the least comfortable. She's the best minute winner I've taped in a very, very long time. So while Holly is not a great Draftkings scorer, 2.3-ish points per minute, this is a 5-round fight. And you're paying $9,000 for somebody that, in my opinion, probably wins this fight 8 out of 10 times on a bad day, and maybe 9 out of 10 times on a good day. She's just better than Ketlen Vieira everywhere. I got Holly down as my ass shaving of the week. I think she styles here.
Let's go. I like it, Weezy. I like it a lot. Let's keep moving on. Before we do so, if you guys can please leave a like, subscribe here to Pub Sports Radio. It is always much, much appreciated. It does go a long way there. Let's move on to our favorite value play here. So, I'm going to go with Ketlen Vieira, 7,100. This is a cash game play for me. I think this does go 5 rounds. I do think she does get styled on, but I do think her path to victory is going to be getting the fight down to the mat. So I feel like there's going to be some takedown upside, at least early. I do have some concerns about the gas tank going forward, but I just feel like at the very least at 7,100, she can go the 5 rounds. She can, land some strikes on the feet, maybe get a takedown here or there, and put up a decent floor. So it allows me to go up and get Jailton, Almeida, and other guys up there. So I do like Ketlen Vieira as a value play, but this is more of a cash game play. I'm not going to play her a ton in tournaments. Gordo, who's your favorite value play this week?
You know what? I don't know how much value she has, but I'm going to talk about the baby shark here in Tabatha Ricci. She's one who I just see her winning this fight and scoring very well in the process. And I know she's a bit cheaper than others, but I think her ceiling here is decently high. And when I first did the tape, first did the research, this reminded me a lot of the Gordo versus Cortez fight. And the only difference is I think that this Ricci, who is my comparison to Cortez, has a lot more finishing upside here. I think that Viana, while she's very dangerous off her back, I know she's a decent sub game. I think she's not going to win any minutes here. I don't think she's going to win any of the wrestling exchanges. And I don't even on the feet think she's going to be that dangerous. I think that it's be Ricci landing those takedowns, getting that WrestleMania on, and getting to use that black belt on the ground as well. With that being said, Viana gets controlled 38.8% of the time. There's points for Ricci right there. And then you add in people like Hannah Cifers being safe on top. I definitely think Ricci can be safe on top as well. So this is a spot where I do think that despite her still being a favorite, I do think you can get value down from the other guys up top. And I do think she scores very, very well in the process.
Yep, I'm right there with you. I like me some Ricci this week. Weezy, who's your favorite value play this week?
Get out of my head, Gordo. Yeah, man, I like Ricci and just Viana. You don't even have to try to take her down. If you just walk towards her, she'll fall like a lawn chair and let you on top of her. That's where she wants to be. And so I think that Ricci's got some good takedown upside here. I think she's got some good control time upside here. She throws a lot of strikes too. She's aggressive. She throws in combination. And because Poly is so much taller than her and longer than her, she's going to have to walk forward in order to close that distance. Walking forward means combinations. It means cage control. It means ground control. It means takedowns. And I think, like Gordo said, she stays on top and she stays safe. And if she can do those two things, I think it's a pretty easy path to victory for either decision or even getting a finish. So, Tabatha Ricci at 8,300 is a pretty good deal this week. And she's scoring 3.34 DraftKings points per minute over 2 fights. And one of those is against Manon, and she got murdered in that fight. So in the Oliveira fight, she scored, let me just get that for you guys here, just under 100 points in 3 rounds. That's pretty good. And the work rate was 70 points over 15 minutes. So 60. Yeah, that's almost 5 points per minute. Yeah, this is a great spot for Ricci. A lot of value at 8,300.
Yep, some agreement there. Monk, what is your favorite value play this week?
I'm going to give you your boy, Eryk Anders. I believe it was Weezy that was speaking about him earlier. 7,200. If Anders wins by finish, by decision, I don't think it matters. He's going to make the optimal lineup at that salary. And as Weezy said, I think he's got a decent shot here. We've seen Park rock before. We've seen Park beaten by TKO before by one RoboCop. Anders scoring just under 90 points when he wins. This is over his 6-6 UFC record, so a pretty decent number there. Also, you're getting a steal on him. So if you're talking about value, you're paying $1,177 under his average salary. I love the possible value here from Anders, no matter if he wins by finish or decision. So at that 7,200, I'm definitely going to be putting him in several lineups this week.
Sounds good. There you go. Last thing, we'll go to our dart throw, and all this Ricci love, including me. I like Ricci this week. I have a bet on Ricci. I think Polyana is sub or bust. But with that said, if Polyana Viana wins at 7,900, I just don't see many people having her. She has a 100% finish rate that cannot be ignored, and she's going to get a lot of opportunities off her back to find that submission. I hope it doesn't happen. I really don't, because I have a bet on Ricci, like I said, but 7,900 for a dart throw. I will be having some Polyana Viana. I feel like you have to, just in case she does get that arm bar from guard, which again would piss me off, but that's what she does. That's how she wins. She doesn't win minutes, she wins moments, and anything can happen in women's MMA. Give me some Polyana Viana as a dart throw here. Weezy, who's your dart throw for this week?
So I'm going with Amedovski. One punch knockout power, really. I mean, really, that's what it is. Gordo, he's the definition of a dart throw, guys. He's either going to get this done in the first 30 seconds or he's not going to do anything. And if he gets it done in the first 30 seconds, he probably scores 120 points. So, in the lineups where you don't have Joe Holmes, a great upside option is going to be Amedovski. So, and I mean, look, watch. He's got knockouts over two good fighters, you guys. Ibrahim Mane and the current UAE Warriors middleweight champion, Will Fleury. He's knocked both of those dudes out. And Fleury is a guy who's actually known for his durability. So if this guy Amedovski connects, he's punting his head. So, it's a great dart throw for this week.
Yep, I agree with that. Gordo, who's your favorite dart throw for this week?
Well, you got me back there, Weezy. I'll talk about it briefly. It is Amedovski as well. This is a spot where I say, like, as always, I always respect everybody getting in there. And, like, we all know they can all beat me up. But this is an awful, awful fight. Like, these guys, I don't think are UFC caliber either side. And when you're giving me a guy with that much power, facing a guy who lost to Jamie Pickett, I'm going to have to take a stab at it. And it's no disrespect either, but I just think that, like, Amedovski's win condition is that round with knockout. Going to score very well. It's not like he hasn't done it before, as Weezy mentioned. So, you know what? Amedovski's also training with Kazmat Chimaev. He's got that picture on Instagram. I see that. So who knows? Maybe he comes out a new man. But no, I don't expect that. I expect him to be low owned and at that score very well if he does win. Not saying he's going to, but I'll have a dart throw in the process.
Sounds good. I like it. And then Monk, who's your favorite dart throw for this week?
I mean, I'm not going to echo you guys, although I do love it. I just will say Amedovski, almost 15 and a half minutes of UFC fight time, 0.56 points per minute. Terrible. I'm going to go ahead and do something terrible on my own end and give you, I'm going to have to brush my teeth after I say this. Parker Porter, $6,800. He has made the optimal lineup in one out of his last two fights. He does score 4 points a minute, 94.53. If he survives here, I mean, somehow if he wins, I don't know how, maybe he just holds him up and blinds the referee with some green mist, holds Almeida against the fence and just like grabs on for dear life to those chain links, then maybe he could get a win here. But man, if he can survive, I mean, he'll make the optimal, I guess. But any lineup I don't have Almeida in, which is going to be several, I'll probably just put Parker Porter in some of those. I'll be really close to 100% on this fight. So I don't feel good about it, but an absolute dart throw, Parker Porter here.
There we go. I like it. So now, if anybody in the chat has any questions, I saw a couple. We'll get to them in a second. But if you have any questions, let us know in the chat. We'll get to those. We will now go over our lineups. Last week, Luke, he tried to come out on top. I believe I think we're 16 cards in. And Luke was in first place last week. So all he needed to do was just keep up that lead. Let's see if he did. Going to the scores now, and I have them. So last week in last place, it was Luke. Luke had Maximov scored 1.6 points, Davey Grant 89, Hadley 18, Camacho 8, Blachowicz 61, and then Ryan Spann 91, scoring 271.52. And third place was me with Maximov with 1.6, Grant with 89, Kudalab with 17, Arayuja with 91, Blachowicz was 61, and then Condolari with 37. And second place was Monk with Maximov 1.6, Tara 96, Kudalaba 17, Torres 114, Jan Blachowicz 61, and then Andre Petrosky 91. Good call there. And then Weezy in first place with Davey Grant 89, Kudalaba 17, Rakic 30, Torres 114, Hebos 51. And then Alan Nascimento, great call there, 83. Congrats, Weezy, you got first place.
Yeah, man, I'll take it. I'll take it. But it was a rough week. I mean, I was really confident about Kudalaba. That didn't go well. Rakic blows out his knee in the third round. That's always, when those kind of things happen and you got money on the fight, it's like, man, what we're doing is hard. There's a lot of variance in this sport. So I'll take it, move forward, hopefully get this one too. The last thing I want to do is get that free spirit tattoo on my throat. It wouldn't look good on me, so let's keep it going. I need more first places.
Yep. So as we know, we keep track throughout the year, and yeah, we're at 16 cards. So what we'll do going forward with Gordo, we'll kind of take a look at the average points scored per card. And loser, like you said, Weezy, it's actually not the free spirit tattoo anymore. Loser has to escape out of full mount against Parker Porter. You have 5 minutes to do it. There's no way. You can try, but you have to escape.
Can I get the free spirit tattoo instead?
If you don't escape out of full mount, you got to get the free spirit tattoo. But we are giving you an opportunity. Yeah.
Man, we got to start really scoring points here, man. I do not want to be.
Talk about incentive. Man, Jesus. Coffees for closers. I heard you loud and clear, bud.
What did I get myself into?
Yeah, that'll get everybody going. But in last place, 16 cards, we have Weezy. So he is in danger of getting Parker Porter on top of him with 6,516.47, averaging 407.28 per week. And third place is Monk with 6,624.31, averaging 414.02 per week. And second place, Luke finished with 6,791.78, averaging score 424.49. And then first place is me with 6,818.58 with an average score of 426.16. Luke finished 26.8 Draftkings points behind me. And then also behind me is Monk with 194.27. And then Weezy down 302.11. So, Gordo, I'm curious to see how you do next week. So it should be a fun time. Do we have our lineups ready for this week? Weezy, we'll start with you.
All right. So this week, going from most expensive to least expensive, I'm going to be going with Jailton Almeida, Joseph Holmes, Chidi Njokuani, Tabatha Baby Shark Ricci, Chase Hooper, beautiful head of hair on that kid, and then your boy, Eryk Anders.
Sounds good. Monk, how about you?
I'm going bang or bust. Jailton Almeida, Jun-yong Park, Michel Pereira, Polyana Viana, Uroš Medic, and Duško Todorović.
And Gordo, how about you?
I'm going to take Jailton Almeida, Omar Morales, Chidi Njokuani, Tabatha Ricci, Chase Hooper, and I can't believe I'm saying this, Alen Amedovski.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm pretty close to Weezy. I have Almeida, Holm, Njokuani, Ricci, Anders, and Vieira doing the main event stack. I think it goes 5 rounds. So those are the lineups for this week. Let's see how we do. Very curious. But now let's answer some questions if you guys have any. This is probably a good one for Monk because you actually called Romanov not being optimal a couple weeks back. So he said, is Almeida this week's version of what Romanov was a couple weeks ago and will win but not be on the optimal lineup? What are your thoughts, Monk?
Probably not. That said, I mean, he didn't technically make the optimal, but he did score a ridiculous amount of points in that one, like 109 or something. But still, if you were going for the optimal, he was not on it. I don't think so. 9,400, anything other than 9,600, anything below that, the odds of making the optimal go exponentially higher. Super quick, 9,400 wins 78% of the time. It makes the optimal 48.28% of those wins. So a decent chance there. If this finishes in the first round, we are going to be right on the border. I think he has a good chance to make it with an early finish.
Justin saying Anders with the face palm and no Pereira, guys. Very disappointed. Who was on Pereira in here? I think it was you, Monk, right?
Yeah. I'm on Pereira for this one. So I like him for cash and GPP.
There you go. So hopefully you're not too disappointed, Justin. But we'll give our quick picks and head out of here. If you guys are watching the replay and you guys have any questions, just comment them below, and I'm sure one of us will get to them as well. So I'll kick this one off. We have, give me Holm in the main event, Santiago Ponzinibbio, sorry, Justin, Chidi Njokuani, Tabatha Ricci, Jun-yong Park, Joseph Holmes, Jailton Almeida, Omar Morales, Jonathan Martinez. Give me the upset with Chase Hooper, and then give me Elise Reed. Monk, who are your quick picks for this week?
I'll go Sam Hughes, Chase Hooper right there with you, Jonathan Martinez, Uroš Medic, Jailton Almeida, Joseph Holmes, Jun-yong Park, Polyana Viana, Chidi Njokuani, Michel Pereira and Holly Holm.
Sounds good. Gordo, do you have your quick picks for this week?
Of course, I'm taking Holm in the main event, Michel Pereira, Chidi Njokuani, Tabatha Ricci, Jun-yong Park. We'll take Amedovski for the upset, just for the culture. We'll take Jailton Almeida. We'll take Omar Morales. Take Martinez, Chase Hooper, and Elise Reed.
Sounds good. And Weezy, how about you?
So I got Holly Holm down as my ass shaving of the week. I think she's going to dominate here. I'm picking Ponzinibbio in a split decision. Njokuani, Ricci, Eryk Anders for an upset. Joe Holmes, Jailton Almeida. I'm picking Omar Morales, Jonathan Martinez, Chase Hooper for the upset over Homer Simpson Kalaris. And then I'm going to go with Sam Page for an upset. I think she's going to march down Elise Reed, put her up against the cage, maybe wrestle her a little bit and win a greasy decision. But yeah, those are the picks.
Yeah, what a greasy fight and what a greasy card, but a fun card as well. Monk, let the people know where they can find you, what you have going on throughout the week.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Find me over on Monk Maddox over on YouTube. Just put out a couple of videos, my 11 fight breakdown as far as DraftKings goes. And then on MMA Engine, just put out my salary voodoo video this morning as well. 3 fights that you must check out as far as GPP tournaments go. Other than that, guys, yeah, that's about it for me. Enjoy the fight card.
Sounds good. Gordo, how about you?
Yeah, well, you can find me on Twitter at GamblesGordo. Well, before I do, thank you for having me on, guys. Look forward to doing this. 3 handsome gentlemen. Let's get her going. You can find me on YouTube at Plays and Fade Sports. I have my DFS breakdown going up any minute now. Hopefully that's done editing. And then I also do a live stream every Friday with Liam Picks Fights and Phoenix MMA. So I'll do that live stream there. But other than that, on Twitter, that's where I am.
Sounds good. Glad to have you on. Should be a fun show going forward. And then Weezy, let the people know where they can find you, what you have going on throughout the rest of the week.
Yeah, you can find me on my YouTube channel, Uncle Weezy. It did just a tip last night, broke down all 11 fights, gave you a greasy 4-leg parlay, finished with Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. You can find me on the MMA Engine YouTube channel doing probability tomorrow night with Brady, 7:15 Central Time. And you can find me on Pub Sports Radio doing the DFS show right here every Wednesday with these gentlemen. And on every Sunday for Stat Diggers with DFS by the number, 6:15 Central Time, the best way to start out your UFC week. We will be taking next week off, though, you guys, a much-deserved week off, and then we'll be back in a week. So, yeah, that's where you can find me, guys. Let's stack cash tickets like flapjacks for UFC Vegas 55.
Sounds good. Yeah, guys, tune into MMA Engine tomorrow. We have probability. Cannot wait to break that down. Lots of spots sticking out. But yeah, follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers, Instagram, DFS by the numbers. Make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe. Thank you all so much for hanging out. Also, be sure to check out Prize Picks as well and use promo code PUBSPORTS. That's about it, guys. A week off next week, and we'll come back. I think it's like 10 cards in a row. So lots to look forward to this summer. Best of luck.